All right, race fans, episode 280 of the One to Go show. I tell you what, our podcast dad is not with us today. He's going to join in later for the trivia and for the bold predictions, but I don't know, Chongo. We might get ourselves in trouble without Bert here. I'm not really sure what we're going to do. But as always, we got former track champion up at the Proctor Speedway, national championship crew chief. We got Chonga in the house. Of course, I'm your host, Brian Aho. So, Chonga, how the heck you doing? Hockey season is here. I know you're jacked about that. Are you more excited about your kid playing hockey, being able to go to that, do that dad stuff, or the NHL?
Both.
Ah, that you sound like Bert. Maybe Bert is here, right? The next thing you're going to be saying is, well, there's always a chance. There's always a chance it could happen. So you have to pick one.
I'm going to use that. I'm going to use that.
You have to pick one.
You're going to have to set me up into that so I can use that later.
All right. Well, as always, this show brought to you by Impact Health Sharing. So if you're in the market for health insurance, whether you're a single person, a couple, a family with multiple kids, maybe you have a small business, got some employees, but if you pay for health insurance every month and you're wondering, how in the world can I maybe pay less? How can we have lower deductibles? How can we maybe go to a different doctor where you're not stuck into a specific network? Well, I might have a solution for you. It's called Impact Health Sharing, and you can reach me at 218-969-1380. I can get you a quick, no obligation quote, and I can get you all the information you need so you can see if Impact Health Sharing is a good fit for you. So with that said, Changa, let's start with, there's a lot of different storylines. Now, let's face it, racing's winding down. There's not a lot of racing left. The WISSOTA season ended this past weekend. All the champions were crowned, but a lot of different seasons are winding down, right? So there's championship battles in a lot of different things. But let's start with one of the, I guess, I don't know what I would name it, right? The premier late model championship battles, right, are Lucas Oil World of Outlaw. But then you have some secondary stuff out there, the Hunt the Front, the Mars series, right, Hell Tour, all that. Well, Hunt the Front, they concluded their season this past weekend down at Cherokee Speedway, Gaffney, South Carolina. Had a little drama there, Chonga. So this time last week, it was pretty evident that it was a 2-point lead for Jimmy Owens over Zach Mitchell. And it's like, boy, we got a battle here. We're excited. We're jacked. We're like, I'm going to tune in. Well, Friday morning comes and news hits the airwaves. Zach Mitchell failed post-race tech. I'm not sure when the race was. It was a while back, but they took tire samples. They sent them to Blue Ridge Labs, and they did not meet the benchmark. He lost out. Instead of having a 2-point deficit, it was a 102-point deficit. Although he had a better weekend than Jimmy Owens, it was nowhere near good enough to slide all the way back up into the lead. In fact, he ended up getting fourth in points. But your thoughts on this? So I will just say that I have some very, very good sources. In fact, Jimmy Owens has a book. He has a book out there, and he talks about not so long ago, 15, 20 years ago, maybe a little bit longer than that, everybody was tire doping. It was a thing. They didn't even check it. They didn't even send it in. Everybody was doing it. Well, then they started checking it, and then he had that deal where they disqualified him. I don't remember exactly when that was, and he's adamant, like, hey, I was not doping then. That was he kind of explained it in the book, right? And lo and behold, this guy taught multiple people a little bit about tire doping, and he ends up winning a championship because the guy that he was racing against got caught for allegedly, well, they seem to think it's proven, but it sounds like he was disqualified for, in their mind, tire doping. So pretty interesting stuff there in Hunt the Front. Your thoughts?
I just hate every bit about it. I mean, the tires are garbage. They last a night anyways. Let them do whatever the hell they want to do to the tires. It probably makes the racing better as it is. For God's sake, if you can find a product that makes them last more than a race, why not use it, right? I mean, you're wasting a bunch of money to try to test these tires and creating a bunch of hate and discontent and drama. Hell with it. Just let them do whatever they want.
I've had that conversation with people that are experienced in actually doing stuff to tires, right? And there's a lot of different products out there. Some of the products take literally just minutes, right? There's different tire treatments, there's different things that you can do. And then there's different stuff out there that takes a lot more time. And let's face it, in the go-kart world, and it sounds like some of the go-kart world's getting away from the tire doping, but it was a legal deal, right? You could do it forever. In fact, in go-kart racing, I mean, if you didn't show up with dope tires, I mean, why even go? You weren't going to compete. That wasn't even a thing. But there sounds like they're even trying to get away from that there. And a lot of people in the dirt racing world with go-kart background, let's face it, they've taken that experience they had and they used it in the dirt track world as well. But you're exactly right. All these drivers are using their tires one time. They're not recycling tires and running them multiple nights, and there's it seems to be a big split. 50% of the people are your traditionalists, absolutely dead set against doing anything to tires. I mean, don't even want to have the conversation, don't talk about it, not interested. 50% are like, why not? Well, who gives a shit, right? If you're only running a tire one night, who cares what you do to the tire? I don't know. I see both sides, right? Because I mean, it does take time. There is a little bit of a cost to doing it. I get it, but on the open late model side of things, it's like, if they're already at a point where they're running tires one night and getting rid of them, who gives a shit? I mean, you ain't. I mean, it's not like it's saving people money, to not do it. So, I don't know.
Oh, the
Bummer
thing
deal for
is
Zach Mitchell.
you know that there's people doing it all the time, every
Mhm.
night at every racetrack. Someone's doing it, and rarely do they get caught. Right? I mean, it's rare that they get caught. So you're out there not doing it, you're losing to someone that is, right? So you might as well all just be doing it, and then we can be on an equal playing field.
Well, and let's face it, right? I mean, if you bring this down to the local level, yes, there has been tracks at given time that have taken tire samples, right? And
Mhm.
sent those samples in. That has happened. But most tracks in series today are struggling for money. They're struggling, right? And they're looking at it going, I'm not spending an extra $1,000 or a couple $1,000 to send all these tire samples in. So now it's getting to the point where people are getting a little bit more daring, a little bit more willing to roll the dice. But this time in Abdom, apparently, and they're adamant. They had a press release out said, we don't, that's not how we race. Who knows what to believe? I have no idea, right? I mean, I obviously didn't test the tires myself, but it came back, didn't meet the benchmark. There's been a lot of controversy with Blue Ridge Labs. That's a known fact. But long story short, they felt like they found something. So night number one, it was a doubleheader down there at Cherokee. A guy that's been running pretty darn good this year, especially down in that area, Carson Ferguson, with a nice run, night number one. So Ferguson wins, Huddy second, and then Chris Ferguson. So a pair of Fergusons in the top three on the podium in night number one. And then they had the 50,000 to win finale on, I believe, was it 50,000 or 30?
It was 30.
Might have been 30,000. Yeah. I think it was the highest paying Hunt the Front race they had of the year. And boy, she was a marathon. 100 lap race, a lot of freaking people melting tires, changing tires. Zach Mitchell came from what, 18th to win that
19th,
deal?
19th to first.
And then Brandon Overton second. Hedgecock got third.
And he started 23rd.
Yeah. So I mean, and let's face it, they didn't just pass their way up. There was a lot of
Yeah.
attrition, a lot of right rear tires blown, a lot of stuff happened. That's Cherokee. That is 1,000% Cherokee Speedway. Happens all the time at that race. But Zach Mitchell, all the way from deep to win that deal, had to be a bittersweet feeling, though, right? Because I mean, if you notice here, Jimmy Owen's not on the podium either night.
He
You
got
know,
fourth
you
the
know,
first night, and I don't even remember what he got Saturday, but
yeah, not good. So the points ended up being Jimmy Owens, Corey Hedgecock, Joseph Joyner, Zach Mitchell slides all the way down to fourth. Bittersweet deal. A little bit of controversy there. Going to be interesting to see what the Hunt the Front series does moving forward, because rumor has it Joseph Joyner might be running the Lucas Oil series. So we're going to there's a lot of speculation, a lot of rumors, but I would say in the next month or so, they should have a full announcement of what they're going to do. But congratulations, Jimmy Owens, one of the best ever strapped in. Hell of a race car driver. And let's face it, I mean, he can still run with the boys. I mean, he can run Lucas and World of Outlaws and rattle off some really good runs on occasion, but he's kind of at that age where it's kind of like a T-Mac deal, right? Or a Dale McDowell, where you might not run in the top three every single night, but you could still do it. But for him to get on that regional series, I mean, he showed he still had it. There's some hell of good race car drivers. Zach Mitchell's an up and comer in that deal, and the experience paid off. Jimmy Owens, your champ.
Yeah. The big question is does now going forward the Hunt the Front series, new schedule. Can't wait to see it come out how they schedule around Lucas Oil's schedule.
Right. That, you know what? And quite honestly, I mean, let's face it, once the season starts going, Lucas Oil World of Outlaw, they run at least one of them's running pretty much every week, so it's hard to schedule around both. But if Joseph Joyner wants to run the Lucas Oil, they're going to probably do the best they can to kind of make it work. So it's going to be interesting. We'll see what happens. The next thing here, Changa, bigger is not always better. Bigger is not always better,
Yes.
regardless of what the commercials say on TV. Okay,
Yeah.
bigger is not always better. Tell us what happened. West Virginia Motor
Yeah.
Speedway.
So West Virginia Motor Speedway used to be a big old 5/8, and they revamped that thing down to a 3/8 mile race. They had a 5,000 to win super late model race there this past weekend. What did they have? What would you got a total on the car count? They had a bunch of cars.
I do. They had 70 late models, 72 sport mods, 58 A mods, and 32 pro late models, a total of 232 cars.
So, and I was able to kind of watch bits and pieces of this one while I was watching a whole bunch of other things there. And, the first thing I noticed is, wow, the stands are just jam packed, right? And I didn't even realize how many classes, how many cars were going until I had read about it later. But long story short, Tyler Carpenter wins the 5,000.
He had
And
to slip
Freddie,
by dad. He had
yep,
to slip
that's
by dad
my
to do
little
it.
Freddie Carpenter to do it. Yep. So, but yeah, great. They shortened the track. Shortened the track. All of a sudden, the fans and the cars are there again. So, Bert, your decision now that you've taken over the Shawano Speedway to shorten that place might be a good deal.
Boy, I would have to think so. I look back. I believe the last super late model race they had down at West Virginia, 2023 historic 100. I want to say that one was $50,000. I think it was a big paying show. It was either 23 or 22 where they had the big money on the line. They had 26 late models show up. 26. So they reopen the track, they shorten it up, and they pay significantly less, $5,000 to win, and they have 70 late models show up. Now, albeit it's not your Lucas Oil guys, World of Outlaw guys, but it don't matter. I mean, you go to a WISSOTA show, you have 70 late models show up, you're gonna have a hell of a show. It's still gonna be a good race, right? So for them to see that many cars and the jam-packed crowd, racing is strong down there. They still are passionate about it, but shortening up that track, I mean, a lot of people were afraid to go there because they were just destroying motors, hard on equipment, just, really expensive to race at. And Shawano, I mean, Bert's not on here, right? And we'll talk more about this as the process happens, if it happens, but then a lot of talk. Shawano's looking at maybe shortening that track up as well, getting some bids, kind of doing some things. They were down. I mean, there was nights last year, Chongo, or this past season, where they just couldn't even race. They had one car, two cars, four cars. I mean, they're just like, it is what it is. Shortening up Shawano, I myself, right, as a fan, I just hate half miles. I mean, I just do. I'm not a fan of half mile racetracks. It just is what it is. I believe that if Shawano shortens that track up, it might take a year to kind of get it racy. It might take a little while, but I think it's going to be better. I really believe that you're going to have more drivers in that area interested in going to race a 3/8 than they are going to race a half mile. I just
Well,
think it's going to be
especially,
better.
and in that area, I mean, that's the heart of stock car territory, right? I mean, them guys weren't even going this year, and now, they don't like them big half milers. So I'm hoping they'll get a bunch of them back at the very least.
Right. So a little bit of news on the USMTS mod stuff here. Kind of interesting. Couple more weeks to go to determine a champion there. I want to give a shout out quick though before we do. Brad Parsons Soil and Egg Solutions. We know harvest season is here. Farmers out in the field, money making time. A lot of places are already done. Some places it's still in full force. But the fact is, if you want to make more money, what do you need to do? Better yields? Obviously you want the prices to be up too, right? But you want better yields. How do you get better yields? Making sure the right stuff is in your spray packages. Now you might feel like you have a good product. But why not give Brad Parson a call at 320-219-3542 to learn about all the products he has? Brad, he's getting back into the late model next year. He's been around racing for a long time. He's one of us, part of the racing family. So if you're in Western Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, why not call somebody within that racing family to at least inquire about the products that he has so you can maybe get some data, make an educated decision if you want to try some of those products on your land to see if that helps you out in 2026. Again, that's Brad Parsons Soil and Egg Solution, 320-219-3542. So, Tonga, I was driving truck. I got down into southern Minnesota here, and in the gas station, somebody says Huddy sucks, and I'm like kind of looking around. I'm like, oh shit, I got a Huddy shirt on, right? And I'm like, talking to me. Who the hell is this guy, right? And I turn around, he's like, oh, hey, Ryan, right? I'm like, yeah. He goes, yeah, we watch the show and all that. So, shout out. And I said I wouldn't say his name because I got a little bit of maybe insider info here. But the fact is, USMTS has been the number one modified touring series in the country for a significant period of time, for a long time, right? And things are changing. Things are really changing. Remember 3-4 years ago, they had big car counts. There's like 20 plus drivers following that series. We're under 10 now. What do we have? 7, 8 guys that followed the whole series this year. That's not good. But now let's take a look at that 7, 8 drivers, right? You had Tanner Mullins followed the series. He ran several shows this year in a late model. Could he possibly be looking at transitioning, running a little bit more late model stuff in 2026, possibly, right? Kyle Strickler, he ran the series till the end and he missed a weekend at the end. Why? Because he got back into a late model. Ultimately, that's where he would prefer to be. Joe Chisholm ran a late model this past season, got a handful of nights in. His aspirations are going the late model. The most recent rumor that I heard was there's a possibility that Jim Chisholm could be getting into a late model. And there's a little speculation. There's some solid rumors going around. Remember, Bruning Motorsports, right? Mike Marlar split from them. He went back to what, Delp, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Delp. And now that seat is open. They don't know what they're going to do for cars. But the fact is, there's some rumors going on that there's a possibility Jim Chisholm in the Bruning ride, maybe. That could happen. That doesn't have any experience. Then you add on top of it, right? There's 3 USRA regional series that did pretty well this year. You had the American Racer Modified Series, the Heartland Modified Tour, and then the Northern Lights Modified Series, all USRA, which USRA, of course, is the sanctioning body. Yeah, the governing body, where USMTS is a traveling series, that's the governing body. Well, a lot of drivers, there's several that followed the series that decided, hey, I'm going to lock into this regional series instead of following that whole series. Man, if some of these drivers, if a couple of these fall off, what are we going to be left with? Sanders, right? Terry Phillips, maybe. There's, are they going to be in trouble, Changa? Do you think they're going to really have to look at some changes for 2026 if they want to continue to make the USMTS series, right? The tour, good enough series to where when racetracks say, hey, we're willing to put the money up to have the USMTS come into our town, right? Because it costs a lot of money to have that show. Those tracks are absolutely in no way, shape, or form going to be interested if it's only 5 or 6 drivers with only 2 or 3 marquee drivers. Are you nervous about that?
No, 100%. I mean, and like they don't race for a fortune to win every night, and I mean, they'd almost have to freaking double it to even have a prayer of even keeping it from getting worse.
Yeah, that's exactly it. But so you almost got to pay more to entice more drivers. But on the track level, you're like, I'll be
No,
honest with you, okay? I love USMTS racing. I love watching modified racing. It's good
don't
stuff.
drop.
But the fact is, yeah, you're exactly right. Does not draw. I don't care. Rodney Sanders is fantastic. He's one of the best mod drivers in the country. Terry Phillips is legendary, right? You look at the Chisholm boys, right? They're all good drivers. I'm telling you right now, they don't fill the grandstands. It's not the same as National Touring Late Model Series, and it's not even on the same stratosphere as like the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars. So it's a tough gig. They're gonna have to maybe they're gonna have to do some soul searching to decide what they're gonna do moving forward to continue to make this a viable product. I hope they make something happen. I really enjoy watching USMTS modifieds, and I'd hate to see it go away, but they're in a period right now. It's not necessarily complete danger zone where it's going to vanish, but they are in a window right now where they have to really look deep inside to decide what are we going to change to continue to not only survive but grow this to the point where tracks want us at their facilities. So keep an eye on what happens with the USMTS. Um, have you heard any other drivers? I mean, is there any potential drivers that might follow it at some point, or
God,
have
I
you
don't
heard?
know. I mean, they'll pop out of the woodwork, I'm sure. You get a couple of them young or the top guys out of there, and now some of these younger people be like, all right, now I got a chance. Now maybe I'll chase it and a little bit and at least start the series and see how it goes for a while. But yeah, I mean, and it usually starts out that way anyways. You'll have, a dozen or 15 that'll run the first couple, and as soon as they have a bad night, then they fall off, and that's kind of normal in a lot of series. But
Right, right. It's interesting though. Them regional series, right? They're all USRA, and it's all under the same body, right? Todd Staley owns both. He owns USRA and USMTS, and he's got to be sitting going, man, oh man, I like the regional series, but are they taking away from the USMTS product? Um, National points got done. We sold a national points, so I'm gonna kind of bounce around a little bit here. So first of all, congratulations to all the champions. Okay, we'll start there. The late models, three in a row. TPO, Tyler Peterson. What is that? 4 straight years with an Addy for him, right? Because didn't he double up? He got a
yeah,
mod and then he doubled up mod and late, right? And
yeah.
then he got a late, and now he's going to get a late again. So I mean, he's on an absolute on a tear. So Tyler Peterson, congratulations! He just continues to do what he does. The modifies, youngest driver ever in the Wasota Modified Division to win a national championship, second year in a row. A rookie driver in the Modified Division won a national championship. Congratulations to the One to Go Show 40D. That's Blake Adams, third generation racer. Super excited to see him. Congratulations to their family. Super Stocks, the Iron Man. I mean, he was in contention. He finished, I believe, fourth in the late model, second in the mod, first in the super. I mean, he's always there. Shane Zabrowski, the dominant car all year long. Kurt Myers had a hell of a year. Dexton Cook came on strong at the end, but Shane Zabrowski, he just did what he does. Midwest Mods, though, we're going to pause here. We're going to stop. Congratulations, first of all, Tyler Vernon. Super fun. And I want to thank him and Joey Jensen both because they really made things interesting at the end. Their battle all year long, they were within a couple points, and Joey, he made the statement. He goes, "It doesn't define me." We all know you're going to be disappointed when you come up a little short. It just is what it is. But at the same time, when I talked to him, he said, "Hey, I'm super happy. We had a hell of a year. Nothing really to hang our head about." I mean, and that's absolutely true. But coulda, woulda, shoulda. God dang, it was so close to seeing something really, really cool potentially happen. And I wanted to see it play out. Didn't get to, but to kind of let everybody know what was happening. Coming into this last weekend, right? Tyler Vernon had a 4 point lead over Joey Jensen. Changa, what was going to happen next?
Well, Joey couldn't get the job done by just winning one race, right? So there happened to be two races that were running this weekend, but they kind of overlapped, right? So um, the thought process is, all right, well, first thing I need to do is I need to go to I-94 and hopefully win my heat race. If I can win my heat race, maybe I can go to Hibbing on Saturday if I can sweep there and find a way to get back to Fergus for that feature, Chip Chair a chance, right?
Yeah, so he does. James Trantina lends him his car. We had gotten word that he was going to run Landon Rant's car,
Mm-hmm.
and that ended up not being the case. I don't know if that was going to be the case and something changed, but James Trantina said, "Hey, use mine." So he used James Trantina's car, wins the heat at Fergus, right? Starts on the pole, passing points. I believe he's going to start ninth in the feature. So he had some work to do, even if he made it back. So then they're like, "Hey, we got a shot. Hibbing races at 2 o'clock. Let's go up there." Passing points, starts on the pole again, wins his heat. Now he's got to start seventh in the feature. Start Tyler Vernon started eighth. Yeah, Joey started eighth in the feature, right? Seventh, eighth, fourth row. Tyler Vernon started pole in the heat. He wins the heat. And or no, Tyler Vernon started eighth in the heat, wins the heat. He's pole in the feature.
Mm-hmm.
And they go out there, they race. Now, while this is all happening, the weather report comes out at Fergus, right? It was freaking cold. The crowd was bad. It was windy. And they're like, boy, there's some weather coming in. They decide at Fergus Falls, hey, we're not racing at 5. We're moving that up to 3. My phone blew up. People are like, you got to give a donkey award. Steppen and Shaw screwing him over. I can't believe they're just screwing him. And at first I'm like, God, that does suck, right? And I got to looking and it's like, I'll be honest, it's kind of a hobby of mine giving old Chris a donkey award. It just is. I enjoy doing it, right? I mean, he might not like it, but I kind of have fun doing that once in a while. I can't do it here, right? I just can't. You can't delay a show and potentially have a show get rained out. As much as it would have been fun to see, you can't do that for one guy. With the weather the way it was misting during the Hornet feature. It kind of drizzled after I mean, at any point in time, it could have dumped on them. Ultimately they did the right thing by starting earlier. You got all kinds of people there, fans, drivers. I mean, they had a couple hundred cars. You literally you have to do what's best for everybody there, not just the one guy. As bad as it sucks, right? So I can't give a donkey award to Chris. Sorry, can't do it. I think they made the right call there. But he did have a plane lined up though, Changa. So you had sounds like a little Cessna that he was going to take. And with the wind, because it got windy, mixed with it got dark, like when the Midwest kind of the races took a little bit longer, there's some cautions. That flight, they had to kind of call that flight off. It canceled. So that flight canceled. Well, Blake Adams and Buzzy, they got a plane, sounds like from Chad Olson Custom Farms. They had a plane there as well. And they said, if this all gets done early enough, Joey, you can hop in with us and we'll get you back to Fergus. Well, long story short, the program got done quickly at Fergus. And by the time the Midwest mod feature got done, they still had to wait for Blake to get done with the mods. It just wasn't in the cards. He was not going to be able to make it back. So it just is what it is. So Tyler Vernon ends up winning it. But man, it would have been a super cool story to see that all play out. But it wasn't in the cards. But tip of the cap to both those drivers. Congrats, Tyler Vernon, on the championship. In the street stocks, actually, yeah. I mean, you can do the next 4. Tell us our champions here in the next 4 classes there, Changa.
So your street stock guy, and you caught me off guard here. Now I got to remember him. Although Braden, or not Braden, but Colton Brower, he's been ahead for so long. I haven't talked about him in about 2 months because he's been kind of just off the radar for a while. But Colton Brower won the national championship. Probably had it 2 months ago. What other?
And the cool thing is, right, and this might be the only time. I know Jimmy and Dan Gullickson both won in the streeters. I don't know that it was on. I have to look. I don't have it in front of me. I don't know that it was on back-to-back years. It might have been. But super cool, right, to see Braden Brower win it last year. The very next year, Colton Brower wins it. So back-to-back years, Brower boys win. And of course, he changed his number from KOL 34 to 34J, of course, after his late father, Jeff Brower, longtime racer, very accomplished, that passed away after the season, last season, or right at the end there. So it was super tragic. So super cool for the family to be able to get back-to-back national championships.
Mod 4's come from behind in the last month. Dustin Holtquist getting her done. Congratulations to Dustin. Pure Stocks, Dustin Puffy, right?
Yep.
And he kind of led that one for the most part, wire to wire.
Redemption year for Puffy, because last year he led it going into the very, very last race, and kind of had a little to do there on at the Fall Classic. And long story short, Brent Mindock took it from him on the very last race last year. So congratulations on the redemption tour, Dustin Puffy.
And then in the Hornets, guy we talked about seemingly every week, Tony Jensen getting her done. Heck of a year for that kid. He won a lot of races.
And Antonio, so Dustin Nelson's son-in-law. So we made many, many laps against Dustin Nelson. And I will say this, out of all them drivers, I got to be honest with you. I love enthusiasm, raw, real, passionate enthusiasm in victory lane. And it seemed like every time this kid won, he's up on the roof. He's doing the arm pump. I mean, just seeing that pure excitement and that energy, it was just good for racing. Seeing somebody that excited. And rumor has it, Changa, that he might not be racing next year. Sounds like he might have a couple kids on the way, maybe some twins.
Oh my!
That's kind of yeah. So it sounds like he might be taking the year off. I mean, you got to take care of the family. But I'll just say this, Dustin. I mean, you got a couple cars, right? I mean, if you love your son-in-law, just let him race one of yours, right? I mean, what are we doing here? I mean, you got a couple supers, let him race one. So I'm just gonna throw that out, even if it's not every night. Let him get his feet wet, maybe at Princeton or Ogilvy, somewhere close. So there's my lobby for that.
Talking about the one of those deals too. I just saw today that one of our faster local Hornet guys, Carson Gutler, his car's for sale, and he apparently is taking next year off as well. And
Oh, that's horse shit.
they're gonna try to put a B mod together for the following year. So
All right. All right. Well, hopefully they get that thing done sooner rather than later, because taking the year off turns into 2, turns into 10.
yeah, we
So
all know.
yeah, we definitely do. There's no doubt about that. So this week's big, right? Speaking of championships, we got a championship coming down to the line this coming weekend. Carl Short's Dirt Track World Championship. Been at many tracks. This is a race that's been at many different racetracks. Now, over the last couple of years, it's been at the Big E, right? It's at Eldora, and the stage is set. You got your final 4 Lucas Oil Championship chase. And the mailman, Devin Moran, has a 15-point lead over RTJ. Okay. They're tight. That is close. That's literally quick time in one position. Bam. He can pass them just like that. That's all that takes. Jonathan Davenport, 115 points back. He's got some work to do.
They need some luck.
It could happen, right? They're probably going to have 60,
sure.
70, 80 cars at this deal. I mean, it could definitely, the potential's there for Moran and RTJ to kind of have some bad luck go their way. So it could happen. And fourth in points right now, Hudson O'Neill. He's locked in the fourth. I mean, he had the absolute worst chase that you could possibly have, 365 points back. Now, the other thing is, if you get fifth in points, Changa, that's $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the Rocket, yeah, the Rocket one of Brandon Shepard. So many drivers in that car over the past few years.
I know, right?
Yeah, think like B5. We'll just call him B5. He is 150 points ahead of Garrett Alberson.
Wow.
And like 580 points ahead of Brandon Overton. So Overton can't catch him. And let's be real here. I think he might be locked in the fifth. 150 is a bunch. He would have to probably get dead last and Alberson win.
You know, and Shep's good at Eldora.
Right. Shep is really good there. But let me ask you this. So obviously it's a points deal. Let's say that one of the final 4 championship guys doesn't win the race, right? Let's say that I don't know, your boy Bobby Pierce, he wins the race. What kind of celebration is it, right? He wins the race. What gets celebrated more, the driver that wins the championship or the driver that wins the race?
We saw it happen last year.
Yeah, Pierce
So
won it.
Pierce
Pierce
won
won
it.
it.
RTJ won the championship, and you know, him and old Madden were partying up, and I think they got a little more of the excitement. And then the next week they were fighting each other, Madden and
And
RTJ.
RTJ, yes. Does that take away? I mean, does that take away from it when they kind of have the chase deal? I mean, I don't know. I mean, not really. Maybe not.
I mean, this particular year, the points race between the top two, had they not restarted, was still going to be decent. But a lot of years, it's over.
It would have been a different top two though.
Oh yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
would have been
And
JD and
JD and RTJ.
RTJ. Yeah, because Moran kind of he was basically
Mm-hmm.
back a ways going in. I just don't like I get the idea behind the chase. I don't like it. I'm a traditionalist, I guess,
I mean,
to
let's
where if
be
you had the
honest, Devin
best
Moran.
year,
I mean, let's be honest. If Devin Moran wins the championship, I mean, at the end of the year, he was probably still 300 points back of what the other guys were. You know,
right?
so you're resetting for 5 races or 4 races, you're good. Or the other
Your
guy just
thoughts?
had
I
some
mean,
bad luck.
if they don't have this format, right? RTJ wins the last three.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah. Well,
So
don't know if he'd have won this one, but
yeah, I mean, I think he would have because it still had the last four races, so he still would have pulled away from Davenport in the last four because it would have been the same. It would have
but
been
he
the
wouldn't
same
have
races,
they did give him the separation points based on the wins. So it would have been a little closer. He'd probably be sitting, I don't know, 80 points back of him, 85
right?
points, 75 points back of him right now. You know, but
Right.
still be a heavy favorite to win.
So I'm guessing you might have a prediction maybe on this, but we'll in the bold prediction. So we want to save it for that, or do you not have a bold
Well, I
prediction?
already did mine last week.
Well, what was your bold prediction? Who did you predict?
I predicted Moran would win the title.
Okay, okay. You said that
Yeah.
last year that Miranda was going to
No, no,
win
no.
a
Well,
title.
not no, no. I predicted. Well, that wasn't even what exactly I said. I didn't even say Moran would win the title. I said RTJ won't get top two in points.
Wow, he would have to have a really
Oh,
bad night.
he's 100 points ahead of JD. So
Yeah,
essentially, the
that's
prediction is JD makes 100 points up on him.
nobody can accuse you of not going bold, right? So last year was
Mhm.
Bobby Pierce from 14th, T Mac second, RTJ third, Moran went 18th to fourth, Max Blair, who's been good, 13th to fifth. So keep an eye on that this weekend. We'll have a little bit more when we get to the bold predictions. I will make a prediction in relation to the Dirt Track World Championship. But Changa, let me ask you this: do we need to draw a fucking roadmap, right, for your boy to figure out where the hell victory lane is? I
I
mean,
think it's very possible. It's
I'm
very
just asking,
possible.
right? I mean,
So
do we
it's
need to call him up and be like, hey, Bobby, about halfway down the front straightaway on the left, kind of on the inside of the track, big sign, big billboard. A lot of times there's like checkerboard on the ground right in front of it. That's where the winner
okay.
goes.
So all
That's
I
where
can
the
say
winner
is
goes.
it's been he had won 4 Woo races in a row, and then now he's like 15 straight races without a win. And it's been rough sledding for them guys. They've led a few races, but they ain't been necessarily the car to beat hardly at all.
Almost 2 months. It's been
Yeah,
2 months. So
right?
15 races, but they haven't raced a ton.
No, because they were big races like the
Yep.
World, but well,
August
it's the
22nd.
longest. Yep, it's the longest losing streak that he's had since 2022. Now that
Right.
being said, he still has the most wins in the country this year. But
Which is crazy being he hasn't won since August 22nd and 2030 double up at Arrowhead.
mhm,
Hasn't won since. Now, let's be honest. He ain't been like he didn't have a terrible weekend. They went down to Boot Hill this past weekend, the Bayou Classic down there. Um, Night number one, T Mac passed him to win. T
yep,
Mac wins, Bobby Pierce second, Cody Overton third, Hoffman fourth, Dennis Erb Jr. round out the top five.
yep.
Night number two is a good race.
Right
Night
number
number
two was
two is a
good.
good race. They Bobby did everything he could. He threw haymaker after haymaker after haymaker, but the Reaper Ryan Gustin held him at bay, and I believe that was the second straight Bayou Classic for Gustin down
That
there. I think
was
he won it last year. So Gustin wins. Pierce second. Dennis Erb Jr. with another top five. He gets third. Cody Overton with another top 4 gets 4th.
14th to 4th.
Yeah, hell of a good run for him. Yeah, 15 race winless streak. World Finals is up next, November 5th through the 8th. 3 races. Pierce got a big lead. Tell us. That race was good. Anything else stick out to you at Boot Hill or
just a couple things? Obviously you touched on that first race. Pierce leads the first 20 laps. T-Mac drives by him, leads the last 10. But yeah, like you said, Cody Overton's running good. Herb's been running good. But then the second night, they had that great battle for the lead. So the Friday night, T-Mac had cut the deficit with Gustin to like 2 points going into Saturday night, and that's a big money change from 3rd to 4th, right? It's like a $50,000 difference, right? And so Gustin gets like a 17th, and T-Mac wins, cuts it to 2, and then the next night Gustin wins, and T-Mac DNFs gets a 26th, and boom, right back to where he started. Well, the other thing I found interesting, well, Marler in his new ride, he got a 13th and a 21st. That wasn't very good for him in his debut with his new team. But
he was he was in a Longhorn again though, right?
Yeah, that's what you were telling me, a Longhorn with Delk, and then it was co-sanctioned with that. What's that other series that Moyer won the championship
Comp
in?
Cams.
Yeah, so that was a co-sanctioned deal with the Comp Cams. So Kyle Beard was I believe, the top finishing Comp Cams regular. He went 26th to 7th on Saturday.
That's a good run.
Nice run for him.
That's a good run with the Outlaws for sure for a regional guy. Absolutely. So let's jump into the final couple WISSOTA races of the year. Yeah, the Gopher State Showdown. They had heats on Friday, features Saturday, and on Friday they also had the makeup features for the Dick Johannick King of Dirt for the late models and the super stocks. Turns out that was basically the primary reason Kurt Myers said, "Fuck it, I'm done," because he knew that Shane was starting outside pole and had one in the barrel at Fergus, and he's like, "Well, shit, he's pretty good odds he's going to go there, get himself another keeper," right? So that was basically, that turns out that's kind of one of the reasons why he gave up on that deal. And then Hibbing also had the Hot Dish Nationals racing in Hibbing, Minnesota in October. Talk about that in a minute as well. But before we talk about these, let's give a quick shout out to our friends up in Ashland, Wisconsin, Fastlane Motorsports and Powder Coating, home of the Galloper chassis. They're the #1 sponsor of the best series in WISSOTA racing, the Northland Superstock Series. Changa excited to announce, going to be an official announcement coming down the pipeline, but July 10th, okay, Superstock drivers, July 10th, Friday, July 10th, Hibbing Speedway, Hardy Memorial, big money on the line. 67 to win for the super stocks. You're gonna want to mark that one on your calendar. It's gonna be epic. So super excited about that. But Fastlane Motorsports, they do so much, right? They're the parts vendor at a ton of tracks. They also, they do custom powder coating, fabricating, sandblasting. They can get any part you need. Chris is just a great guy, great staff up there, just good people up in Ashland, Wisconsin, Fastlane Motorsports and Powder Coating. So let's kind of go class by class, right? We'll do the top, we'll do the two. And, I know you watched, I was at Hibbing. And
I watched a lot of
all of it. Yeah, you watched a lot of both. Well, let's start with late models. And I'll let you go first. Kind of, why don't you talk a little bit about Fergus? I'll talk a little bit about Hibbing. We might be able to kind of bounce back and forth here, but they had 2 features there for the late models. So what stuck out?
So, well, I don't even remember the makeup feature. I don't know that I even saw the makeup feature, if I'm being honest. So if you want to touch on that.
Yeah, the makeup feature, there was a little, TPO was good early, and I think he got in the wall. I don't know if I think he broke. I don't remember what happened, but he DNF'd. But Dave Moss continuing a banner season. He was really, really good. And Cole Schill, another guy that's been, he wins the sights, and he ran up front, at what was it, the 100? He ran pretty well at that. So Cole Schill has been running very, very well, and he ends up getting second. Dustin Strand gets third. Ryan Corbett fourth, and a guy by the name of Greg Priestad. I gotta be honest, I don't know much about Greg, but a hell of a run. 5th place finish. It's a good run at the King of Dirt at Fergus. In we'll get to the supers when we get to it, but yeah, Dave Moss parking it in Victory Lane Friday night.
So then in the the Saturday night regular program, Dustin Strand got it done. Dave Moss, I mean, and TPO led this race, started on the front row, led it for a long time early. Him and Strand had a really good battle going for the lead there for a long time. And old Dave Moss comes from 18th to second at the end, right? TPO ends up fourth. Or no, yeah, TPO ended up
Third.
third. Yeah, Gunnar
Yep.
Frank brought it home fourth, and then Cole Schill, after being DQ'd in the heat race, goes 22nd to or out of the B, 22nd to fifth. So another good
So,
run for Cole Schill there.
Chong, do you know why he got DQ'd in the heat race?
Yeah, I think he forgot to scale again, didn't he?
And he posted on Facebook, he goes, I was a dumbass, like so if there's a donkey award to be given at Fergus, I gotta give it to Cole, right? I mean, I like Cole. I'm a Cole Schill fan, good runner, right? You race there almost, I think he races there weekly or dang near weekly. I don't know how that even happens. He goes out in the heat, has a good heat race run. He would have been starting right in the front. And I will say this though, salvaged it by plus 17 into the top 5. So he salvaged it, but just another one of those drivers that is like, oh, the scale? Who needs to go there? Unbelievable. I just, yeah, unbelievable. But Dustin Strand, hey, a third and a first. He don't run Fergus weekly. He runs Grand Forks, and I mean, hell of a season for him. I mean, got to be honest, if they woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? If the Queen had balls, she'd be the king. But if Wissota took the top 20 shows, he's your national champion. That would have been last year. They didn't. TPO's the champ. So, little bit bitter. He was a little bit bitter when I kind of pointed that out to him. He's like, boy, that sucks because he for sure would have won the national championship if it was your top 20 shows. And it's kind of a little bit of a tough pill to swallow, but certain things are out of your control. You can't do nothing about it. He still had a hell of a good season. Late models over at the Hibbing Speedway, though, a driver that hasn't won in 2 years. 2 years since he won a feature, and he's kind of been playing around different chassis and all that. He gets back into the capital that he ran most of the year in Hibbing, I think all year in Hibbing, and had his dad's throwback body on. Super cool. Steve Vessel throwback body on. He had it on for Labor Day, struggled mightily at Labor Day. Had a tough Labor Day, but Derek Vessel started front row. I believe Kyle Peterlin started next to him on the front row. And I got to be honest, right? I think everybody and their brothers like, boy, Peterlin's had a hell of a season. He's going to win this. This one's over. Maybe, be cool to see Derek do it, but ain't going to happen. Kyle Peterlin's on the front row. Peterlin got second. Never really contended for the lead. Yeah, Derek just kind of drove off into the sunset. Burdick got third. And you ever see My Cousin Vinny?
I don't think so.
Oh, Joe Pesci. Oh, it's like a classic. Marissa Tomei. Fourth place driver goes to such a big talker,
Oh,
Jeff
yeah.
Provenzino. Such a big talker, Jeff Provenzino, because he told me for a month, I ain't going to that. I'm not going. I'm not going to that show. Not, and the reason is because they decided we're going to pay everybody's going to get 1,000 to win, and the late models got 1,500 to win all year, but nobody else paid 1,500. Everybody else paid 1,000 or less, so they still got more money to win on Saturday than pretty much every other track in the area gets. So I mean, it's not like whatever. But I mean, I get his principle. Like, why would they pay us less? I mean, I get what he was saying, but I talked to him in Nashville, not going. I'm super happy to see that he did go. Right, it's his home track. You have a racing business, so tip of the cap, Bravo. Got to give you shit. Glad to see you made the trip over there. Jungle Boy Zach Waller's rounded out the top 5. And let's be honest, Hibbing Speedway, day race, 2:00 start time. I mean, if I told you 2:00 start time in Hibbing, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Choo choo.
Yeah, you're going to latch up, rubbered up. Track prep crew did a good job. They took a lot of heat all year long. And, the top was definitely faster, but it never latched. Did not take rubber, so they had wind too. They had some sun. It was super windy. Had to have been 15, 20-mile-an-hour winds, and it still didn't latch up. Was it perfect? No track's perfect. But Hibbing not rubbering up with over 100 cars, day race, hey, that's a good job to the track prep crew. You can't ask for a whole lot better than that. There's some of the modifieds. So there was a storyline in the modifieds too at Fergus, because the points going in, Blake Adams had a 6-point lead on Shane Sabraski. Sabraski was chucking 52s. If he gets a 58-point show, they're tied. And if they're tied, Sabraski had the tiebreaker, he'd be your national champion. Fill us in from there.
And Shane, I believe, started second row. I think he started third in the feature there. And simple, right? Shane Sabraski starting second row. If he wins, he's at least got a chance. He's putting the ball in Blake's court to do something in Hibbing. If he wins, I think everybody kind of expected him to win up there. To all right, start third, win the race. And he just never was really in contention. He was a third place car at best. Dusty Bitson kind of, for all intent and purpose, drove off into the sunset. Brady Gertis got second, and Shane had nothing for either one of them guys, and had all he could do to hold off Landon Atkinson and Ryan Gerke at the end. So at that point, that was before Blake even had run his feature, so he didn't even have to. But as it turns out, I believe he did gain one more point in his feature.
He did. He did. So let's be honest. I did not expect Shane to win at Fergus. Shane's a hell of a race car driver. He's really good. But Dusty Bitson and Brady Gertis starting in the front two rows on their home turf, those two are unbelievably fast at home. And Bitson has been lights out. And that's who I picked in our pick'ems. I took Bitson in our pick'ems. And when I saw him on the front row, it's like, well, Shane's going to have to be really, really good to beat those two. And he was okay. Got third, still a good run, but he had nothing for the elites of Bitson and Gertis up there. He did win his heat though, so he was in position. Well, Blake got third in his heat at Fergus on Friday. He did the same thing Joey did. He got third in the heat. Shane won his heat, second inside. He's sitting there thinking, "Holy shit, Shane's gonna win the features. I'm not gonna win from deep. He was gonna start pretty deep." So they drove up to Hibbing, and he was chucking 53s. A 54-point show clinches it. Right, goes out. He wins his heat, and they had enough cars for a 56. They didn't have 16. They had like 13, 14 cars, something like that. They did not have enough for a 16 or a 57-point show. So he needed second in the feature, and that's exactly what he got. Bob Broking dominant. He drove off into the sunset, looked really good in that CDR car. Blake Adams, I was nervous because he lives or dies by the high side, and he, for a little bit in that race, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, Jack Rebord's going to drive right by him. And he kind of pulled away from him a little bit at the end of that deal. So Blake got second, Jack Rebord with third, and then MC3 with another solid run in Hibbing. Mervyn Castle the third, getting fourth, and then Jeffrey Wood finishing the top five. So kind of an uneventful race. And I talked to Buzzy, and he said, yeah, I think he started that race. We all had tears in our eyes because literally just as the mods in Hibbing were going out on the track, the mods in Fergus had just finished. So before
Blake did not know.
Blake knew.
Oh, he did know before he went out?
Yep, he knew. Right, yeah, they found out right before he went out on the track. They figured out that Shane got third, so they knew at that point that they locked it up. Now it's just house money. Go out, have fun, do the best you can. So there was at that point, and I was wondering that, did they know? And
I wouldn't have told them.
Yeah, they were watching it, and I mean, I would have probably told them because 16 years old, a lot of pressure on you. It's, let's just take the pressure off now. Just go out, race, have fun. Probably the right thing to do to tell him because he did not need to go out there and have a whole bunch of pressure on his back. But if he had that pressure, if Shane wins, right? Boy, oh boy, then he has to get. I think that I got to be honest with you. I don't know that Blake finishes in the top two if Shane wins the feature, because that's a lot of pressure on the back of a 16-year-old, right? Rookie driver, even though he's a hell of a driver, hell of a talent, he's still a kid, right? So it'd be a lot of pressure. I think it worked out perfect that race got done. The pressure came off. He could go out, and ultimately had nothing for Bob. Bob Broking, when he's on, right? He had a good car. That thing was absolutely unstoppable, and he just drove off. So congrats, Bob Broking, Hot Dish Nationals in Hibbing. Super stocks. They had a pair of features over at the I-94 Speedway.
Well, and then, the Iron Man starts up front and leads every lap of that one. Dexton Cook got second. He was kind of there with them. He showed his nose to the inside a couple times, but just never really could mount a significant challenge on him there. The one junior, Tim Johnson, got third. The 11A, Jordan Hinkemeyer fourth, and then Trevor Nelson after just been an awful invite season for Trevor Nelson. It was nice to at least see him get a top 5 to end the year here with.
And he got third in the makeup feature for the King of Dirt. Sobraski doubles up. He wins both features. He just absolutely dominant in that super. William Lund got second in the Dirt Dueler. Trevor Nelson third. Travis Scott fourth, and then Carter Rentz rounded out the top 5 in the makeup feature. So yeah, Trevor Nelson had, and he kind of alluded to it on Facebook. Man, it's just been a rough postseason. She's been a tough go over that stretch run at the end of the year when the money's on the line. This just shit did not go right. A lot of it out of his control, to be honest with you. But Shane Sobraski doing what Shane Sobraski does, right? It's just the way it is. Superstock's over in Hibbing, though. A guy that we talked about quite a few times this year about having just consistent, solid, good runs, a lot of top 3s, a lot of top 5s. First win of the year on his final night of the year. Saginaw, Minnesota driver Austin Bloom in the 3B, dominating performance. He started up there with the guy that won the Triple Crown this year, Dalton Carlson, right? He won in Grand Rapids, Hibbing, and Proctor. He won 3 track championships. He started.
No.
Bemidji. Yes, not Proctor. Grand Rapids, Hibbing, and Bemidji. I always think Grand Rapids, Hibbing, Proctor because I ran Proctor. That was a long time ago. Grand Rapids, Hibbing, and Bemidji. So he did win the Triple Crown, though. And then Rick Simpson, guy that's top 5 in national points. I think he finished 4th. He had some pressure on him, and Austin Bloom drove away. Caution came out. I'm like, all right, we're going to see what happens. Somebody's going to throw a slider on him, and he just had a really good start and never really got too much pressure there. Carlson second, Simpson third, Doug Koski finishing off a great season for Doug with a 4th place finish. But then you look at, I got to do it. I got to give a donkey award to my boy. You're going to be mad at me. Okay, it's out of love, right? It's out of love. I mean, he's my boy, but Tristan Labarge, come on, man. I mean, what are we doing, right? I mean, he's just too tight in the heat. I watched the heat. I'm like, oh, he's got it set up for the dry. He didn't change nothing. Car didn't turn. It is what it is. And I was watching on my phone, so I couldn't really see. In the replay, to the best of my knowledge, hasn't come up yet on XR. I haven't seen a replay of it yet. I was hoping to. In his mind, Simpson got him off the track. I don't know if that happened. I think, there's more to the story. I think is probably on him. He gets put to the back, and there's an altercation in the pits, some screaming, hollering. I think he hit his car, and the Hibbing Speedway officials said, you know what? That's enough. Go home. And God dang it. I mean, I get it, right? Because I probably was a little feisty back in the day too. Probably got sent home a time or 2 myself. So I ain't judging. Probably too much like me. He probably hung around me when I did some of that stupid shit. I'm probably where he learned some of that stuff from. So probably my fault. Okay. Donkey award to me for teaching him that shit to begin with. Probably my fault. Okay. But I don't know that you want to pick a fight with Rick Simpson. Okay. He's fucking he's tough, right? I remember him fucking swinging and knocking a couple of heads at different racetracks. Seen him do it, right? He's not a small guy. I don't think Tristan wants to pick that battle. Just saying. So, Tristan, advice to you: maybe reach out to Rick and say, "Hey, let's apologize. Let's move forward. probably, a good business decision for you to do because you're not going to outfund that team either. So, yeah, you kind of want to pick your battles there. But unfortunately, he had a rough year. Tristan, he's been a hell of a driver over the years, but he just not a good night for him for sure. And we talked about the Midwest mods, but we did not talk about who won. Because we talked about the story, of course, with Joey and kind of the point deal. But so Blake and Joey both scratched at Fergus. Joey wins his heat. Blake wins his heat. Both of them scratched from the lineup because they're in Hibbing. How excited do you think the Midwest mod drivers in Fergus Falls were? Like, holy shit, two of the top guys aren't even racing. This is outstanding.
Well, I can say there's probably a good large handful of them that were probably pretty excited, but I can probably tell you the guy that won probably didn't really care because Jay Money, the money was on the line, and he just did what he always does, right? He wins invitationals, wins big money races, and it was a easy win for him, right? The other good guys or the other so-called fast guys aren't even there, but he's probably going to win that race anyway from where he started. So
He's been good. And now like, he won the national points a couple years back in the Midwest mods, and he got a lot of grief, right? Oh, he only wins because he's a cherry picker. He's racing Madison and Monty, and he's only racing against 8 cars. He can't win against real cars. Well, you might consider looking at my race pass from 2025 and just look at all the big money shows that he won. I think that's been nipped in the butt. Okay. The fact him not being able to win against competition, that's a non-starter. That conversation is over. That is done. Jake Smith put together, he didn't race for national points. He ran mostly money shows and he won more than he lost. He won a lot of those money shows. Hell of a season to him. What was the top 5 in that deal?
So after him, Memphis Clausen, I believe he's a Canadian. Am I wrong?
Yep, that's correct.
So
Yep.
he come down, got second place. Really good run for him. Scott Tofty, Kevin
An old
Yeager.
legend Scott Tofty.
Yeah, Kevin Yeager and then Malachi Clausen come down and got a top 5. So good weekend for that family from the looks of it.
I believe they're both cars that race up at Dead Horse Creek Speedway and over at Victory Lane Speedway. So, yeah, cool to see them come down and have some success. Congrats to both them drivers. Midwest Mods kind of had a moment there in the feature over at the Hibbing Speedway, and Tyler Vernon gets out to the early lead in this deal, right? And at the time, they're racing for a national championship because they're thinking, like, if Joey wins this deal, he's getting on a plane. He's going back to Fergus. He could possibly win that. Now we're in trouble. So Vernon's in a must-win situation, or he had to get second. If he got first or second, that deal was locked up. He gets off to the early lead in this deal, and next thing you know, motor starts breaking up, and Mikey Blevins is behind him, and he shucks a motor going down the back straightaway, getting into turn 3. Car slows up. Mikey Blevins does everything he can to not run him over, kind of turns it to stay off him, and Joey had nowhere to go, gets into him, and it sent Mikey Blevins for a hell of a ride. He tumbled that thing hard, and now you're looking at it, it's like, holy shit, what's happening? So Vernon's done, right? Mikey Blevins done, but on the headset, right? Because I was sitting with people that were listening to the officials.
Yeah. Who's the
There
call on?
was a discussion. They're like, well, Joey got in, one of the officials, I don't know any names. One of the officials is like, well, Joey got into him and rolled him, right? That was kind of the conversation. Joey got into him and rolled him. It's like, you can't put that on Joey. He had nowhere to go. I mean, the leader broke. Second place car parked it to stay off him. And ultimately, they make the right call, right? There's a hat tip right there. They made the right call. A lot of times we give a lot of shit for making the wrong call. They made the right call. Joey gets his spot back, gets a lead, drives off into the drives off.
Wasn't
yes,
Vernon in second at that time, and Blevins Senior was actually leading when that happened?
He might have been fourth, yeah, because Blevins Senior, you are right.
Blevins Senior was leading, and Vernon was second.
You are right. You are right. My bad. I'm looking at my notes and I'm going, because it came down to the last lap to get into lap traffic, and Joey's in second at the time, and Blevins zigs when he should have zagged. Joey gets around the outside of him in 3 and 4, and Blevins goes up the track and gets into Joey in 3 and 4, and it looked like he was going to maybe drive him off the top of 4, stayed off him enough to kind of let him settle, and then Joey was able to kind of put a move on to take the lead in lap traffic on the last lap to win that deal. So yeah, thanks for clarifying that. That is exactly what happened. So Joey wins, Mike Blevins Sr., Andy Davey, David Simpson, and then Paul Ripley, another good run for him. Super consistent, a lot of top fives, but really good a very exciting Midwest mod race over at Hibbing. The rest of the races, I don't know if there was a lot of excitement, but we can kind of run down street stocks here. What happened at Fergus?
So Levi Rant pretty much led the race, wire to wire, unchallenged. It was kind of a ho-hum deal. Eric Riley brought it home second. Johnny Carter, Trey Hess, and Casey Usatis followed up after that. Wasn't a whole lot of excitement to be had in that one.
Is Levi Rant your too early to predict national champion for 2026?
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Trey Hess might have a little something up his sleeve if he's going to come back. He got a taste of what it's like to try to chase points this year, and he knows how to do it. So I would like to see that be the case where them two could battle it out next year. Who knows what Cole Gresseth will do? But I guess if I was going to pick a favorite now, I'd go with Trey Hess. But I think the Rant kid, young kid, he's run really good this year. He's going to be in the mix for sure.
He's been super fun to watch. Now, of course, he didn't have street stocks up at the Hibbing Speedway, so we'll jump into the Hornets.
So Hornets at I-94, Jeff Roner started up front, got the win, his 17th win in 34 shows this year, so 50% on the year. Hell of a season for that guy. What could have, should have happened, right? If he had just run 10 more shows, right? If he had to run.
You know what he has on his car? He has a Weber Valley Speedway feature win sticker on his car.
Well, there's that. I mean,
yeah, he sent me a picture. He goes, "How many drivers have a sticker like this on their car?" He says, "I'm like, that's outstanding. They should be SOTA sanctioned." He would have turned that second to national points into first. A few more nights down at Weber Valley.
Right. Christian Cast got second. William Lang third.
Hornets in Hibbing.
Good race.
That Hibbing was good, and a little bit of almost controversy because Brady Fossil gets out in the lead and they're kind of battling up front there, right? Him and McKenna Folstead, and 14th to 3rd for Calvin Skaya. Mark Engel was in the mix, but they get into the lap traffic and they're side by side, a couple lappers. And where I was sitting, I couldn't get a good angle, but lo and behold, Fossil tried making a move on the lappers while being pressured for the lead. I couldn't tell if contact was made or not because I didn't see a replay yet. But the lapper goes around and they make the call immediately. So they must have felt like they got it right and they gave him the lead back. He goes on to win, but that could have been a flat tire. There's a lot of things that could have happened there.
Wasn't that like a 30-lap Hornet race too?
It was. Because they got a lot of shit because they were running 12 laps and it's like it was 15 and yeah, well, so they gave them 30
McKenna
laps.
Folstead led that for a long time too, did she not?
Yep. She led. But Brady Fossil putting together a hell of a season, just a couple points short of second. He finished third in the national points. So congrats to Brady. And I believe he's going down to the top list. And there's a driver right there that could make a bid possibly at a national championship in 2026.
That's where I was going to go next. So you put me on the spot in the last one. Is he now one of the odds-on favorites to win it next year?
You know, if I had to put money on it, I think that I would have to say yes, right? Because you take Tony Jensen going to be out of the mix. So, I mean, they already had a pretty depleted Hornet count at Princeton and Ogilvie. So whoever the next man up or next gal up, next driver up is at those two tracks could be in the mix automatically because
Bobby Arns, one of them type of guys.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to race Hornets next year either. So I don't know who that's going to be. It could be the 03 car. Could be that driver Cast. I mean, I would say that smart money could be on him to contend, but you said Carson Gutler is not going to race Hornets, so that kind of leaves the door wide open at Superior, leaves the door wide open at Proctor as well. So, boy, if I had to put money on it right now, I would say that Brady's got to be sitting in a pretty good position to bid for the title in 2026. Absolutely. Gen X late model. So the Scott Engford Gen X late model A main. So Scott Engford, of course, the long-time track worker over at the I-94 Speedway, was sort of board member. He actually started that class, the Gen X late models. He started that. He wrote up the rules. Ended up they had a committee here at the end, but he really put that deal together, and it grew from just a handful of cars to a very, very stout field of cars in that area, kind of Montevideo, I-94, Casino Speedway, those tracks down there. So he put that together, and his vision was sort of late models as a whole are just too expensive for the average person, but why not put together a limited late model class that is even cheaper than a street stock or cheaper than a super stock, and the class is taken off pretty well. So, but that race was in memory of him. Who won that one?
A gentleman by the name of Ben Walden won that one. He was followed by Adam. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, but Preve or Prevy.
Adam
And then,
Preve, former Mod 4 driver. I think he might even
okay.
have a national championship maybe in the Mod 4s as well.
Interesting. And then Tony Croninger got third.
Yep. Yep. And then everybody gives track shit. They're like, you know what, and I like watching a good Midwest mod feature. I do. You get to a special and you can put together some good Midwest mod features because there's yellows and it kind of eliminates some of the riffraff. But they're like, boy, the Midwest mods, they bring out a freaking ton of caution. So why not have two classes of Midwest mods, right? So they had IMCA Sport mods. Lap number one, Changa, did you see what happened on lap number one? It
Yeah,
was
but
like
I tell you, I can remember. I watched it, but I
it
don't
was like
know.
a video game. They just absolutely piled into the fence, ripped the
Oh, that
fence
was when the
down on
fence
the
got ripped down. Okay,
yeah,
yep.
yeah. They piled up. It's like holy shit, and it's like, well,
I was
this could
pumped about it because I'm thinking, all right, time delay. It's going to give Joey a chance.
yeah. Gabriel Deschamps won that, and I don't know many of the IMCA guys.
Yeah, it
They
was
had
Keenan Glasser and Braden Ehlers were second and third.
they had Crown Vics up in Hibbing first time. Sounds like they're gonna have them in Hibbing weekly next year. Crown Vic's gonna bring in another grassroots class up there, and I'm all about it. You got to have grassroots classes. Hornets ain't just enough. They're gonna have a rear wheel drive one as well. Only had five, but Wayne Nelson getting it done. I believe that's Max Nelson's dad. That got that done. So overall, give me your 2-minute overall synopsis of the Gopher State showdown at Fergus. Good, bad, and different. Anything else stick out other than who won, whatever? Anything else stick out to you?
Well, I mean, I enjoy these races at the end of the year. I know some people are burnt out and they don't like them, but um, for most people, the point races are over and we're going there. We're actually being able to enjoy ourselves as they will this weekend at the Topless. But it's a good time. It was awesome to see Hibbing having an opportunity to race in October, and it was like 65 degrees out. I mean, when's that ever a thing, right? And then but yeah, I mean, I was a little disappointed in the Midwest mod field down at down at Fergus. It was just not a real big group of heavy hitters down there. But all in all, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, the racing was good. Both tracks had good racing. I'll say that the track prep was good. I mean, as with any track, right? There's going to be nights that's bad, nights races that are good, races that are bad. But I think both tracks had more races that were good than bad. And at Fergus, right? I mean, everybody wanted me to give Chris a donkey award for starting early, but they had to. They did the right thing. They got the show in. They beat the weather. The crowd sucked, obviously, because it's freaking cold and windy. But when they scheduled the deal in Hibbing, everybody's like, "Is Barry on drugs? Like, what is he racing in October in Hibbing? This guy's out of his mind." It worked. It worked. The weather was good. It was windy. It was a little cold, but they had a pretty good crowd. They had a really good car count. Track was good. So overall, it was a success. They had the top five in points in each class. Brought a hot dish. And then before the races, Bert, they actually welcome, by the way, Bert with us for the rest of the show here. But they all made a hot dish and they sampled it and all that. And so I don't remember who won. You can check out the Hibbing
You
Speedway
know,
Facebook page, but
I had it
kind of a neat
somewhere and I
deal.
lost that note.
Kind of a neat deal. But Bert, before we jump into the national championship trivia, I know you had a busy week. You got promotion. Congrats on your promotion at work. Did you see West Virginia Motor Speedway? We talked about that earlier. They shortened that track up. They had 232 cars, 70 late models, Bert. I mean, it was a success.
Yeah, I didn't see any of the action, but I saw the car count there, so that's good to see because compared to the car counts that they had when it was the big track, it's good to see. Even though it's a shortened track, it's good to see it's not going to die, and it seems like the cars supported it. Hopefully, the racing was good, and I think this could be a lesson to some other track out there, maybe.
Which one are you talking about? Viking Speedway in
So
Alexandria or what?
I did touch on this earlier, talking about that, and I said, now that Burt Lehman's got his hands on the Shawano Speedway, and they're talking about shortening that maybe they can, pack the stands and get the car counts back up. So
It was bottom dominant. The track wasn't fantastic, but as with any track, it takes a few nights to kind of widen out. But people are excited about it down there. People are excited.
But just to expand on that comment, we didn't talk about this last week. It was a long enough show, so I didn't bring it up last week. But there was a newspaper article about shortening Shawano Speedway, and this is the first time that I've heard board members actually talking in favor. They were interviewed for the story, and they were actually talking like they're in favor of shortening the track. So I think that maybe it could happen in the future. I mean, I'm a lot more confident now than I was, 2 weeks ago.
And I think overall, right, you look at all the out of town drivers, not necessarily the ones that race Shawano weekly, but all the other tracks around there, right? Seymour and Luxie and all that. They're all smaller tracks. Plymouth is a lot smaller, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
A lot of those drivers are like, I don't want to go to a half mile, and I get it. Our boy Kraus is a big half mile guy. It's his home track. He loves half miles. I get it. But the fact of the matter is, if all the other tracks in the area are smaller and all those drivers are used to racing 141, all these smaller tracks, they're more apt to go to Shawano if they shorten that track than they are if it's a big half mile. It's just my opinion. So we'll see what happens there.
I agree with you 100%. So we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. So before we get into national championship trivia here, quick shout out to our boy Mac and the crew up at East Central Sports up in Rush City, Minnesota, just a little bit north of the Twin Cities off of I-35. They're your number one source for pit bikes, Toro lawnmowers, golf carts. I mean, you name it. They got a lot of cool shit over there. Chonga and I and Bert, we were all down at the USA Nationals, and Mac came down. He had probably the most pimping golf cart you could have seen. I mean, that thing was badass. And sounds like he's kind of moving some of them pretty quickly. And I am actually not too far away from finding time to stop and over there. I want to have a golf cart here for the 2026 season. I will be getting one from Mac at East Central Sports, but you can check them out online, www.eastcentralsports.com. So last week, I don't even remember what driver I had last week, but it was my turn to do the picks last week, and I do remember because I got it right here.
Teskey.
Yeah, Mark Teskey. Chonga got that one right. So what are we, 11-5-2 right now? So it's Bert's turn to give the clues. Bert sniped me a couple weeks back. I got to see if I can get back into my winning ways here. I don't know. What do we got, Bert? You're on the clock. Oh. You're giving the prediction for the picks here. The clues.
All right. This driver is a third generation driver. This driver got his start racing go-karts.
Blake Adams.
Oh God, I was going there too.
Nope.
Oh shit, really?
At the age of 14, this driver had the opportunity to hot lap at River City Speedway in Grand Forks, North Dakota.
Whoa.
This driver's first race was in 1993 at the Missouri State Fairgrounds in Sedalia at the age of 15.
Huh.
Once this driver turned 16, he started racing weekly at events in West Fargo, North Dakota, and Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and in events throughout the upper Midwest. In 1996, this driver opened eyes on the national scene.
Donnie Schatz.
Yes.
Oh, Christ.
I did not know that Donnie Schatz was a third generation racer. Okay, that's interesting. What else
I
did you
didn't
have for
even know
clues?
sprint cars were a thing in Wissota.
You did. He's a
I know, but
multi-time.
they're just so off the radar. I forgot it was even a thing.
Yeah, give us some more clues.
In 1996, this driver opened eyes when he qualified for and finished 8th in the King's Royal. That same year, this driver won a Wissota National Championship. 1997, this driver began his World of Outlaws career, and then this driver has won 10 World of Outlaw championships in 18 years. If you didn't get it with that
Blake
one,
Adams. That is not Blake Adams, by the way. That is not Blake.
Was not thinking sprint cars. I mean,
Nice.
I think of Bert, it's automatically a late model, right?
Well played, Bert. Good job on the clues. All right. So let's jump into our pick'ems here. Our week 41 winner, Josh Waltz, getting it done. We call him Governor Walls, is what we call him. You don't really like that very much, incidentally. But Josh getting it done. He won the week. Our points right now, boys, you guys got some work to do, but we do have a couple drafts, so things could get pretty dicey with a couple drafts because we're gonna have one for the World Finals, and then we'll have one for the Gateway Dirt Nationals.
If we're doing one for the World Finals, we should have started that like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, okay, we're putting there will be a timer, and we're starting that probably on.
The good thing is there's 3 classes, so it goes a little quicker.
It goes quicker. So I'm at 699, Changa, you're at 669, and Bert at 666. Rainman at 653, and then Governor at 650. Dan 010 behind him at 640, Uper 609, Coach, our early leader, right? He led this thing early. He has slipped all the way back to 8th place, 600 points. He's behind Uper.
What?
He's behind the Uper, yes. Worker B at 587, Tardy at 581, and then we got Man Bun Dan, Beefcake, and Bromance to round things out. So the races we're picking this week: 3 nights of high limit sprints. Of course, last night they raced at Wheatland, and the winner at Wheatland was Brent Marks. Got it done. That's 2 of the last 3 for Brent Marks in high limit. So he's been quick. But Friday, Saturday, we are picking the high limits for their season finale down at the Texas Motor Speedway. Pretty cool facility. Whitney and I went down there. I got to race a mod down there. Fall Clash, we're picking late models. Hagerstown, Maryland. They're racing on Friday. That will be on Flow. Dirt Track World Championship at the Big E at Eldora. Bert might have a prediction or 2 on Eldora. We'll see. And then World of Outlaw Sprint Cars. They got 3 races here this weekend. Friday in Putnamville, Indiana. Saturday, they're going to be at LaSalle in Illinois. And then Sunday, me and Uper and Pete Niska, Keith, I don't know who else is going, but if a bunch of us are going to go, Bert, maybe you should meet us down there. We're going to go to Angel Park, Sun Prairie, Wisconsin for the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars on Sunday. So, Bert, I know the Packers have a night game that night, don't they?
Yeah. It's a late afternoon game.
Late afternoon? Okay. So it's like a bye week. Aren't they playing Arizona?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna go to that. We're gonna go to that on Sunday. And then USRA Mods, they got the Fall Nationals down at Vado, New Mexico. The A main for that is on Sunday. And then one of the events that I talked to several points chasers in Wissota that they really look forward to, kind of the final race of the year in our area, the Topless Nationals at Ogilvie, kind of a time to unwind, right? Because last week it was just high stress, right? Joey stressed out, Vernon stressed out, Blake Adams, Sobraski, they're all stressed to the max. Well, guess what? They get to go race this weekend, and points no longer matter. They can just go race to race and not even have to think about it. They're actually pretty excited about that. They're like, about time we could just go unwind. So we're going to pick that race as well. So let's jump into our bold predictions, and got some controversy here, boys. So we're going to need to make a judgment call. Okay. Uper doing creative Michigan math again. Okay, Changa? So we're going to get to this, okay? So first things first. Bert had some we all had some come off the board. Bert said that Nick Hoffman's going to have a better average finish than Bobby Pierce. Well, Pierce got a pair of seconds. That didn't happen. That was a no. But he also said this: Zach Mitchell is going to win the Hunt the Front championship. Uper grade that one out, Changa. He graded out. He said, that don't even count. What the fuck do you mean that don't count? Well, he lost. Did he, Changa, did Zach Mitchell win the Hunt the Front points?
No.
Okay.
I wish he would have. I wanted him to, but he didn't. No.
So would you say that Bert
cheater.
got that wrong? Bert got that wrong then, probably?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay. All right. Now we're going to move on.
Bert.
Okay. I'm just saying. And he graded out, right? I'm like, no, he got it wrong, right?
So when I said Jimmy Owens will win, he probably graded that out too, I'm guessing.
Yeah, bad beat because he was 2 points back and he had a significantly better week than Jimmy Owens. He would have won if he didn't get caught cheating. I'm just saying, right? But that is what it is. A prediction. He's like, well, I made that prediction thinking he was 2 points back. It don't matter what he didn't win. The prediction was he's gonna, and that was Bert's. Well, the reason he grayed out Bert's is you get down to Uper's picks here, right?
Oh, for Christ's sake!
And he said Zach Mitchell is gonna have a podium finish both nights and a win, and win the championship. And he graded out. I'm like, you can take the championship out of the equation on this one, right? Just scratch that part out, eliminate it.
It still didn't happen.
It still didn't happen. He got one win, which was one podium, and the other night he didn't get a podium. So he's like, well, he was 2 points. I'm like, being 2 points back had no bearing on where he finished night one and night two. So that is wrong. That is wrong. Bert, would you agree that that is wrong?
Well, that one's wrong, and I was just going to say mine's wrong too. I mean,
mine's right.
I'm not. I'm an honest person, and it's wrong.
Yeah, we know Uper's not. That's why we have to double check his math, right? And then he also said, because he's whining about you, Changa, by the way. We'll get to that in a minute. Whining about you. Yeah.
I'm sure.
He did say Hibbing would have less than 10 cars from over 120 miles away at the Hot Dish Nationals. They had more than 10. Because you had the Thunder Bay cars come down, right? You had a handful of them, and you had some from the city. So good to see some guys travel to that. Then he said that the combination of David Gravel, Buddy Kofoid would have a better average finish than Rico and Brad Sweet. Now, Gravel got a third and a 26th DNF. Kofoid had a fourth and a third. Sweet had a third and a first. Rico had a ninth and a third. He got that wrong. Okay.
Got that right.
You got that. We're going to get to that. Yeah. So looking at that, right, high limits, Brent Marks won night one and Brad Sweet won night two. Rico got, like I said, a ninth and a third. Solid week in there for Reitzel with a second and a fourth. Ryan Timms had a good week. He got runner up. World of Outlaws, it was Carson Macedo, Anthony Macri got your wins. Anything else stick out to you on the sprint cars that we need to talk about, or just?
Well, the PA Posse beating up on the World Outlaws there again the second night last week, and it caught me a little off guard again here, but I do have notes on that stuff too.
Yeah, 2 out of the top three, the top two drivers, both podium. The top two podium drivers, both PA Posse at Lincoln, Pennsylvania.
Well, and the only other thing I guess is the points in the World of Outlaws is the closest it's been since like May.
Right. Yeah, it's still not close though.
And then you add in high limits after last night. We're down to Rico with a 28-point lead with 2 races to go.
Yeah, it is 28, isn't it? Yeah, they got Texas Motor Speedway. That could be fun. Now that track typically latches up, so hopefully they get some good track prep on it. We'll see what happens here Friday and Saturday. Changa, you had 2 come off the board. The first one you had was Jimmy Owens will have no wins this weekend, but will win the points. Wait, you got that right? You got that right. Yeah. No wins, and he did win the points. So he gave you that, but he grayed out his own in bursts. So we fixed it. Don't worry. I did the math. I fixed it.
Yeah.
And then he says, the fucking pussy Changa flipped my prediction because he can't make his own. That's what I got here. Okay. The language this young man has, it's offensive. I shouldn't even repeat it, right? And so you said Rico and Sweet would have a better average finish than Gravel and Kofoid. They did.
Let's
You
be
got
honest.
that correct.
Gravel and Kofoid have been arguably two of the three best sprint car drivers in the country this year, and I bet against them.
Yeah, exactly. So I had 3 come off the board as well. I feel like I got a bad beat here, guys. I feel like I got a bad beat. I said the Gopher State Showdown A mains would end after midnight. They moved it up to
boy Chris.
They moved. See, that's really what happened. So Joey, I'm sorry, man. This is on me. This is on me because he probably heard that this was a prediction, so they moved it up just to make sure I didn't get the point. That's probably what happened. So they moved it up. Weather was coming in, rushed the program along. It was nowhere near midnight, probably 9 o'clock or something. So that was wrong. And then I said that Bobby Pierce, Tonga's boy, would have 2 podiums and would get off the winless night and get a win. Nope, 2 seconds. Ain't gonna get much closer than that, but that was wrong. And then I said
not to win.
Yeah, probably. And then I had the combination of these 5 drivers: Tyler Peterson in the late model, Dusty Bitson in the mod, Shane Sabraski in the super, Brennan Waite in the Midwest mod, Kyle Dykoff in the street. Those 2 drivers weren't even there.
Right.
They weren't even there. Between those drivers, they would account for, not counting the makeup feature, just the Saturday A mains at Fergus, they'd account for 3 top 5s, at least 2 podiums, at least 1 win. Tyler Peterson got 3rd, Bitson got 1st, Sabraski got 1st. So by the skin of my teeth, I got that one correct. So with that said, our point standings are, after being fixed here, boys. Bert has 17 correct, and boy, I don't have the. I did not write. Oh, no, I do have the average here. I thought I wrote it down. So Bert has 17 correct and has a 27.9 average. I have 24 correct with a 38.7 average. And Changa, you're leading the way in both. You got 27 correct. That's the most. And a 39.7 average. So one.
I got 2 came off the board, 2 right this week.
Yeah. 2 come off the board. And then Uper's got 26 correct, and his average is at 37.7. So we're literally close on the averages, and really we're close on the correct too. Bert's got some work to do. He's gonna have to lay down some bunts, but we're gonna knock off Uper on this one. So I'm looking at football right now, boys. The Bengals beating the Steelers right now. See if Joey Flack can do his thing, especially after Mike Tomlin whining like a little schoolgirl about the Cleveland Browns trading a quarterback within division. He was pissed about that. He'll be even more pissed if they lose to him.
Did you see? I actually saw something.
I didn't realize there were rules against it.
Yeah,
have
he
you
was
seen
upset.
Tomlin's career record against Flacco? It was 500 coming into tonight.
Really?
Yeah.
That makes sense. He's a 500 guy. Everything he does.
I think the Steelers are Tomlin's 2-1 in the playoffs, but I think they're 500 in the regular season. So if the Bengals win, they'll be 500 for all games after tonight.
Well, nice. I saw Flacco play in person on Sunday.
Oh, that's right. You went to that game, didn't you?
Yeah,
that's
right. I was at the Packers game.
Yeah, the Packers kind of cruised.
Yeah, they didn't look very good. They won, but they didn't look that great.
No, in the second half, they
kind of just let
them hang around. Yeah, they let them hang around. All right, guys, let's jump into our predictions for the week and wrap this baby up. So we'll I guess we'll start with Bert. We'll go Changa, then I got Upers, then I got mine. So Bert, what's your first prediction?
I'm gonna start with the high limit sprint cars, and these are just the races at Fort Worth, Texas. I don't even know what the results were from last night, but they raced last night. But these are my prediction is just for the Texas races. Ryan Timms is gonna have 2 top fives and at least one podium.
Okay. Two top fives and at least one podium for Ryan Timms at Fort Worth, Texas. Okay.
Thanks.
That's not a gimme by any means, because that place latches up and he could be buried and not pass anybody. So that's
Right.
a tough one. All right, Chongo, what's your first prediction?
What the hell? I want to know what Uper's picking so I can do the opposite. All right. I gotta make
he told
something.
me to make you go ahead of him this time, so you can't do that.
Well, I can still go after him twice.
True,
So
that's true.
I'm going to say that the Ironman, Shane Sabraski, will win at least 2 classes at the topless.
Okay. At least 2 wins for the 7A. Off the record, which 2 do you think it'll be?
Well, I don't even know if he's got a motor for the late
He
model.
does.
So
He does.
Okay.
He does.
Then I'm going to go late model super stock.
Okay. Okay. All right. Uper's first prediction, World of Outlaw Sprint Cars. The points right now, currently, 106-point difference between first and second. David Gravel, Buddy Kofoid. After Sunday night, rain, snow, or racing, it don't matter. After Sunday night, it will be under 100 points difference between first and second. So Kofoid will have a ultimately better weekend overall and close the gap a little bit at least on David Gravel. All right, I'm gonna go USRA Modifieds. Down at Vado. That was a pretty good race. We watched that at your place last year. I was at your place.
That was
We
awesome.
watched that. Yeah, it was good racing down there. Bittersweet, right? That the Wild West Shootout's moving from there. The weather sucks there. It's cold, middle of nowhere. The racing was pretty good there though, but just location is bad. My picks for that race were Jake O'Neill, Tanner Mullins. A lot of people picked Rodney Sanders, Cade Dillard. So the combination of Jake O'Neill and Tanner Mullins will have a better average finish than the other two, Rodney Sanders and Cade Dillard.
God, do I got to go against too?
Maybe. All right, Bert, your second prediction.
I'm gonna go Dirt Track World Championship at Eldora, and I'm gonna say of the 4 cars that are in the championship chase, it doesn't matter what position they finish in, but they're gonna finish in this order: Superman, Huddy, RTJ, Moran.
Superman, Huddy, RTJ, Moran. That'll be they'll finish in that order regardless of where they finish. Okay,
right.
Got it.
Oh, I might do that one too. This is fun.
All right, Chongo, what do you got?
Oh shit. Well, I gotta hear what else Uper has to go. I'll save that for later. I'm gonna go USRA Mod Fall Nationals at Vado, and I will say that Dillard doubles up and wins it back-to-back years.
Okay, so Dillard will win the main event because they have some prelim features.
Yeah, I believe
You're
it's
talking
Sunday
the main event.
event.
The Thriller, Cade Dillard. All right, Uper's second prediction here. Devin Moran finishes on the podium at the Big E and wins the Lucas Oil Dirt Late Model Championship. All right. My second prediction, I am going to go. Oh, boy. What should I do here? I'll go Topless Nationals, Ogilvie. Topless Nationals at Ogilvie. National championship driver. So late models, mods, super stocks, Midwest mods, streets, mod 4s, Hornets. I don't think they have pure stocks at at the Fall Classic. Okay. But they have, I believe, 7 of the classes that were WISSOTA classes. So TPO won the late models. Blake Adams won the mods. No more than 2 national champions in that respective class will win the A main at the topless. No more than 2 of the 2025 WISSOTA national champions will win their A main in the class they won the championship in at Ogilvie. So
Only 4 of them are going.
is there only 4 going? Do you know that for sure?
Yes.
Well, I know that. I don't know about TPO. I don't know if he's going or not.
TPO not going. Okay. Blake is going. Shane is going in the super.
Yep. Joey's going. Or
Joey's
Tyler
going.
Tyler Vernon, I don't think is going.
Yeah, Vernon's not going. So, and then
Brower's
Brower's
going.
not going to be there.
Brower's going.
Is he going?
Yeah, he had a whole thing on Facebook with people. He was writing names on his car. Kind of a cool deal, you know,
I
a
did not
trivia
see
deal.
this.
He wrote. He said, just text me a name of somebody that you lost to cancer, and he has names of people that died of cancer on his car. So he's definitely going.
Holtquist will be there.
Holtquist will be there, and so will
I don't know
Tony
about Jensen.
Jensen's going. Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah. Yep.
So no more than 2.
No more than 2. Yep. So
essentially
0,
2
1,
or
or
less.
2. Yep. 0, 1, or 2.
I feel like
National
that's a bunch.
champions. Maybe. I hope so. I hope so. All right, Bert.
I'm gonna go USRA Mod Fall Nationals, and I'm just gonna do the complete opposite of Ryan's prediction. So Dillard and Sanders. Dillard and Sanders will have a better average finish than the 2 drivers that you had said.
Jake O'Neill, Tanner Mullins. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I like it. I think it's a bunt, and you deserve to bunt once in a while.
He needs to catch up. Yep. All right. Changa.
We didn't do Youpers.
Oh, we did not. I skipped Youper. That's right. My bad. No, I did not skip Youper. You're full of shit. What the hell are you talking about? I just looked at that. Good try. Good effort. Good effort.
All right,
yep, good effort.
Oh, shoot. I'm going to one-up Ryan, and I'm going to say 1 or fewer national champions win at Ogilvie.
That's all right. Okay. I like it. I like it because I feel it.
You can't say I ain't being bold because it's bolder than what you picked, right?
Maybe. It could be less bold. I'm not really sure. It depends how you look at it, right? So, yeah, we'll see what happens there. We'll see what happens. All right. So, Youper's third and final prediction is this. Rico Abreu, high limit sprint cars. This counts last night, which actually hurts him in this prediction, by the way. So on the 3 nights on the week, okay, I guess it doesn't hurt him totally. So on his 3 nights for the week, which is Wheatland, 2 nights at Texas Motor Speedway, Rico Abreu will have 3 top 10 finishes, at least 2 podiums. Keep in mind, he got 6th on Wednesday. So both Texas races will have to be podiums, and at least 1 win, and wins the high limit championship on top of it.
I like it.
Yep. So that's not a bunt by any means. I am gonna go world.
Now watch, he's gonna get busted for an illegal tire now. So
that very well could happen. Yeah, he's a charter member. They don't fuck with the charter members. That's for sure. He's got a charter. You know what? I'm gonna go dirt track world championship. I'm gonna go to Eldora. I am gonna say this. In the top 5, there will be at least 2 drivers that are not Lucas Oil dirt late model drivers. At least 2 in the top 5 that are not. And when I say Lucas Oil drivers, it's somebody that obviously followed the whole season.
Off the record, right? Who are they?
I would have to put Bobby on that list, right? And I didn't even look if he's going. I assume he is, but then the smart money would be Dale McDowell, Chris Madden, one of those two or both. Chris Ferguson would be another one. He's good at Eldora as well. But as far as the drivers, I think will be on the podium in Lucas, I would see it in Moran, RTJ, JD. That would be my three that would probably be the three that finish. Overton will be quick and will fade like he does every night. Albertson will be fast and something will happen. So
my off the record bold prediction: RTJ outside the top 15.
okay, could have made that prediction, by the way.
I know, but
you were scared. I understand.
I already made the prediction last week.
It's too bold to include in the bold.
I already made the prediction last
bold.
week. I made the prediction last week that he wouldn't finish in the top 2 in points, which means he's got to finish like
that is
15th
true.
or worse.
That is true.
JD
Good point.
Can pass him. So
good point. So
Bert, last week I predicted Superman's going to win the championship.
Right.
So
you said RTJ and frickin' Moran were going to finish outside the top 15. Essentially,
that is fair. So Bert, let us know on Sunday. Let us know ahead of time. We got reserved seats. We could probably slide one more in there. But let us know if you want to join us over there because it can't be that far. You ain't gonna drive down that far. You can come too.
It's probably at least 3 hours.
It is.
It's at least 2. I would say 2 to 3.
You have to look that up.
I don't think it's that 6 far. For me.
Yeah, it's a hike for you. It's a hike for you. It's like 15 minutes from Madison. How far are you from Madison, Bert?
Probably 2 to 3 hours.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Well,
so you don't
hold on.
All right.
Oh, 2 to 3. It's not even.
I'm gonna say Bert's 100 miles. It could be further though. He's up by Shawano up there. But I've been to
Sun Prairie. We played hockey there a few times.
Did you? Okay. Yeah, it's a hike for you.
It's right next to Madison.
It's not 6 hours though.
Well, yeah. Well, with stopping and pissing and getting gas.
I was gonna say Superior to Roscoe, Illinois, 6 hours in a truck at 65 miles an hour, or just on. Yeah, yep, just under 6 actually. Yep, from Superior Terminal to Roscoe Loves is we'll call it.
How far is it to Madison?
From Roscoe Loves about 50 miles.
No. From Superior to Madison.
In a truck about 5 hours.
No.
Bert?
2 hours and 21 minutes.
It is that far. Okay.
137 miles.
All right. Well, Uper said that you probably don't like him enough anyway to come hang out. So there is that. So I mean that could be. So well, with that said, hey, I didn't have it on.
What time is it,
pull it off tonight or no?
What's that?
Did the Brewers win?
No, they lost 3-1. You're not going to win games if you score 1 run a game.
No.
So they're hanging on by a thread.
Right.
Very well could be over tomorrow or today.
All right, boys. Well, I'm going to jump off here. Always fun chatting, racing. Hope everybody enjoyed the show. As always, thanks for tuning in to the One to Go Show.